All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to say, Call Halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Recha HaKodash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who taught us this truth and rule well. And Shalom to the hopeful elect, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Recha HaKodash, Barak Etam. It's the brother Kazar from Beneval 12 West Coast, coming back at it again with another lesson. And the title of this lesson, or not necessarily the title, but this lesson is going to be more so, going into the marriages, dealing with a few points in marriage, between a man and woman, according to the scriptures, according, what is delightful, in the eyes of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, so we're going to pull a few scriptures out, dealing with that. All right, it's basically, land backing off the lesson I did earlier, dealing with the death of Kevin Samuels. I mentioned that, certain things that he pushed were scriptural. All right. And it's not to build a case, like he was a righteous man, because he was in the world, you know what I'm saying? So, like I said in the previous lesson, things, made of men, things of the world, they come to naught. The things of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, all right, they endure. Okay. And this truth is brothers, in this truth of prophets is a clear example of that. All right, so we're going to start with the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 22. Okay, just going over, a few things that, that he would push out and, basically support it with the scriptures. All right, so book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Okay, so that's straightforward right there. Submit yourselves unto your own husband. All right, basically, you're not going to come and usurp authority over a man and try to run the house and, call shots and be out of order, when your husband is telling you to do something, you want to disobey and buck up. All right. And that's, what goes into, what he was pushing and ultimately what men want. They want a wife that's going to submit, and be obedient. Okay, not a wife that's gonna, buck up and every little thing has to be an argument, or she could be cool one day for a time period and then something happens, she doesn't agree with it, and then boom, World War III breaks out, and now it's like a whole different. You're dealing with like a whole different person. That's not how it's supposed to be. All right, and also too. Another reason why I'm doing this lesson is, with the response of a lot of these demonic Jezebels that are out here celebrating, that the man, died. All right. That the man died, he in the spiritual world. He's in his right mind now, but if they had that animosity towards him, how much more worse us, man, when we take this to another level, man. All right. And that's the facts. All right. And we're not apologetic about this either, man. All right, we're not gonna be over here, trying to convince and make this truth, PC for these Babylonians. All right, it's gonna be straight cut, man. All right, so I'm gonna read this again. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And this is a fundamental. All right, a fundamental vibration, a fundamental spirit that this kingdom has completely destroyed. Ever since, the women's civil rights, all right, these women are now working, they go out there, they work, all right, and again, that puffs them up to where it's like, oh, I don't depend on my husband, I don't need him, all right, I could go to Esau and he'll, put the, set up the platform and the way, to completely overthrow the man. All right, that's what they be, that's what they be going into. Okay, and that's what they do. A lot of households destroyed because a woman feeling herself. A lot of children, growing up, all messed up because they grew up in a single, a single parent household. All right, primarily a single woman household. The men, the women. Sorry, not the men and the women, the sons and the daughters growing up disbalanced, out of balance. Men growing up to, the sons growing up to be effeminate men. All right, the women, growing up to be masculine women. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, and just even more wicked, man. More wicked, more, being harlots. All right, that's why you got that, term out there in the world, daddy issues, and why? Because of that rebellion, that the woman has for the man, which goes back to the curses. All right, because this mainly affects our people, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, the true children of Israel. All right, verse 23. For the husband is the head of the wife. Okay. Even as Hamashiach is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body. All right. And the church, the body's dealing with the 1/3 remnant. All right. But as you see right there, the husband is the head of the wife. Okay. The head of the household. All right. Therefore, as the church is subject unto Hamashiach Yahushai, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Meaning, if a husband, puts out a decree, all right, he puts out, and I don't mean like, high level decree, maybe he wants to do something a certain way, maybe he wants to sell, a car or whatever, and then, get another one, or, he wants to, do away with the garden and put something else over, things like that, or maybe, bigger things, you know what I'm saying? And let's say the wife disagrees with that, she may object, this, but if the man decides, hey, we're going to do it anyways, the woman has to accept that, man. The wife has to accept that. Okay. And ultimately, she shouldn't be in a position to, not necessarily in a position, but she shouldn't be in a mindset to where she wants what's best for her. She should be in a mindset she wants what's best for the house. All right. And the husband being the head of the house, okay, he sees that. All right. It could be, real reasons why, he wants a garden removed, why he wants the car sold, things of that nature. All right. So it reads, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Okay, meaning to be subject. All right, just like we're subject unto Yahweh Shai. All right, guess what? The wives are subject unto us because Yahweh Shai, it's like Yahweh Shai is our power, and we're the power of our wives. We're their protection. Okay, verse 25. Husbands, love your wives, even as Hamashiach Yahweh Shai also loved the church and gave himself for it. Okay. And hey, that's, self-explanatory. You love your wives, man. Deal good with your wives, man. Treat her every now and then. You know what I'm saying? Don't be a tyrant in the house. Don't be a lion in the house. Be good to your wives, man. And at the same time, that doesn't mean be a simp. But everything, done in balance is good in the eyes of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Pursuing the Proverbs 11:1, false balance is an abomination. All right. But if you do things, in balance, a just weight, is his delight. All right, so that's going into, the order, and ultimately the so-called Black, Latina, and Native American woman being in order. Okay, because that's something that they're not right now. They are completely out of order. All right, another thing too. All right, is the multiple wives. And we got to hit this topic again. I did a lesson on it, about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I'm not too sure. All right, but let's just look it up real quick. Another wife. Okay, and we're going to go. Let me see. All right, okay, so we could hit Numbers chapter 5, verse 29. All right, to hit the balance of that. Okay, not necessarily the balance, but, a lot of women will say, okay, well, I'll let him, get another woman, but I could have another man. Which that's no, we don't do that over here. That's wicked, man. That's what you call a open relationship, and nah, we don't do that over here. Okay, because that's adultery. All right, so the book of Exodus, chapter 21, verse 10, and it reads, if he take him another wife for food, so like if he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. All right, so meaning that he has to, treat the women equally. Meaning he has to feed them the same, clothe them the same, the duty of marriage, meaning laying up with them, popping them. All right, he got to do that. You can't just neglect, you can't just favor one wife and neglect the other. All right, see, that's why these laws are perfect, man, because it's not like a man's just going to get another wife and completely forsake the old wife, the first wife or the second wife, whatever. You know what I'm saying? The previous wife, these laws are perfect, man. All right, a man gets another wife, he better take care of her just like he takes care of the first one. Okay, So I'm gonna read this again. If he take him another wife, and again, there is no law in the scriptures, all right, that demonizes a man only having one wife. Okay, none of that, man. All right, and what these women like to pull out, all right, they don't know how to break it down right, man. Butchering the scriptures. Okay, so Exodus 21:10. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. Okay, and again, he brought out many examples. All right, King David. Okay, I'm gonna bring this one out. King David, wives. Let me see. See, it doesn't want to pop up. It's cool. All right, King David, wives, Jerusalem. Oops, there we go. KJV. I'm just going to bring out that particular scripture. You just got to type in the words on the internet, man. They'll pop out. Since the apps don't want to, you know what I'm saying, do what they were meant to do, But it is what it is, man. All right, so 2 Samuel chapter 5, verse 13. And David took him more concubines and wives out of Jerusalem. And after he was come from Hebron, and there were yet born sons and daughters. And there were yet sons and daughters born to David. All right, and David was a righteous man. Okay, if you go into the scriptures, man, the only thing that, the only stain, the only blemish he had was the situation with Bathsheba, and how he had one of his top warriors killed to get with that man's wife, who was Bathsheba. And he ended up taking her in, and that was adultery, man. But Yahweh had mercy on him, and it was under the stipulation that he would never see peace for the remainder of his life. So it was like 40 years of war that King David had. So it came with a judgment, man. All right, it came with a judgment. So basically, the scriptures don't demonize King David for having more than one wife. And I bring out King David. Brothers could bring out King Solomon, but we can't give no occasion to the devil, man. All right, we can't give no place for the devil, because then they will come. People will come in and say, oh well, it's because King Solomon had all these wives and these concubines that he went off. Which they do that to try to make it so that the Israelite man don't deal with the women of the nations. Which we could. They're just going to be concubines. Second form of wives. They're not going to have all the benefits of a wife, because a wife is basically two houses coming together. All right, and we can't join ourselves unto these heathens, okay, because they're going to try to mix their gods, and it's like they're going to try to put their idols into the mix. So we don't do that. All right, but Yahweh Shai set up an avenue to deal with their women by way of the concubines. Okay, so that's that. All right, so that again, polygamy is righteous. All right, another wife. So let's go back to the verse in Numbers. All right, so the book of Numbers, chapter 5, verse 29. This is the law of jealousies. When a wife goeth aside to another instead of her husband, and is defiled, or when the spirit of jealousy cometh upon him, and he jealous over his wife, and shall set the woman before Yahweh Shai, and the priest shall execute upon her all this law. Then shall the man be guiltless from iniquity, and this woman shall bear her iniquity. All right, so going into one of the situations with adultery. All right, if I'm not mistaken, this is basically going into what's it called? Let me see real quick. The law. Well, I mean, they call it the spirit of jealousy. This is called the law of jealousy. Basically a man, brings his wife to the priest. All right, and they make a test for her to see if she committed adultery. All right, and they give her a test, and if her thigh, rots up, her belly swells, that means that she committed adultery. All right, so she's worthy of the judgment. Okay, when it comes to that. All right, so that's one of the precepts that support the fact that women can't be out here sleeping around, man. All right, let's go, much more. Let's go into this adultery. All right. All right, so let's go to Leviticus chapter 20, verse 10. All right, let me see. I believe it's this one. All right, so Leviticus chapter 20, verse 10, and the man that committeth adultery with another man's wife, even he that committeth adultery with his neighbor's wife, the adulterer and the adulteress shall surely be put to death. Okay, so back in the ancient times, this wasn't something to play with, man. All right, this was not something to play with, man. All right, if a woman steps out and a man goes and takes what is another man's, all right, they were put to death. Okay, now in Esau's, in this kingdom, wicked ass kingdom, man, this devil, he condones that, he promotes that. It's always the man's fault. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you woman steps out on you. No, you weren't pleasing her. It's always your fault. But then if you go and get another woman, oh, you're you know what I'm saying? You're the devil, man. You know what I'm saying? They just demonize you. And that's the turning of things upside down that this devil has done. And it's ultimately all the confusion. Not all the confusion, part of the confusion. That's made up in this kingdom, man. All right, or should I say queendom? All right, because it mainly benefits the women, man. All right, and all that, and that sense of power that these women have is just an illusion, man. Nothing more, nothing less. It's just an illusion. All right, because real soon, Yahweh is going to slap the world back into reality. Okay, so it's just a couple things, that Kevin Samuels, which going off of that article, just a couple things that he would bring out that the women had the most problems with. All right, now the other one was the elderly women, all right, which was women 35 and older. You know what I'm saying? They brought that one out, but that's more so because ultimately what these women want to do is they like Elder Pastor Gabar said, he brought out that one song. That's pretty old. Girls just want to have fun. That's all these women want to do. They just want to have fun, defile themselves. And when they're up in age and, they're not hot no more, that's when they want to settle down and find, the nearest sucker to do that, man. You know what I'm saying? But ain't no suckers in this truth, man. Ain't no suckers in this truth. And I'm not saying that if you deal with a, older woman that you're a sucker. You know what I'm saying? As long as that woman is, looking out for you financially, she's doing things for you, she's doing right by you. All right, that's cool, man. But at the same time, if you're in a situation where you dealing with a woman older than you, all right, but you paying her bills and you doing everything for her, you know what I'm saying? All that, you a sucker, man. All right, it is what it is, bro. Like, get yourself a woman of your own age and do that with her. All right, because you doing that with an older woman, you know what I'm saying? That's, it's just my opinion, okay? But, that's basically it on that, this. And like I said, with that notion right there, that part, it's more of my opinion, all right? And brothers don't have to agree with it, disagree with it, it's whatever's, but that's just, the way I operate, all right? Brothers may, may be different, and that don't make brothers wicked. I just wouldn't advise to it. You know what I'm saying? That, my counsel would be, hey, man, if you going to pay for a woman, man, she better be, young and fresh. If she older than 30, she better be doing stuff for you, man. She better be putting some money in your pocket, man. She better be putting money in your pocket. She better be giving you rides, letting you borrow her car, things of that nature. All right? Because, nah, man, we, what I'm saying? We don't feed the ism over here, man. All right? We don't feed that beast, okay? At least I don't. All right, so, hey, man, with that, I'm going to say, Call Halal Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rechaha Kudash. Forgive me the spirit to do this lesson. All right, just a couple things I wanted to, bring out on, thought I'd turn it into a lesson. You know what I'm saying? Because, I missed that out. I missed that part in the previous lesson, because I didn't want to make that lesson be too long. All right, so with that, I'm going to say, Shalom, on to the next.